This is MJ. I'm an author, I'm an artist, I'm an analyzer. Find all my work at mjmunoz.com. Welcome to Swinging Through Comics. Visit mjmunoz.com/STC for notes and links, and don't forget to subscribe. So this is going to be a bit of a more ranting and raving mini-sode, you can call it, where I'm going to be talking about Spider-Gwen and the Spider-Verse and how it's a whole big mess. And some of it might make me look dumb in retrospect, but I just kind of want to blow off some steam and talk about this right now. So I'm going to do it. So I went and took my kids to go see Spider-Verse, 2 years ago as it came, or when it came out, like at the very end of it being out in theaters. There's a cheap theater by me that holds stuff for like a couple weeks, especially if it's successful. They'll keep the moneymakers around for as long as possible, which is what the larger theaters do as well. So anyway, this is third quarter 2020, late November. So that's just a time signature for when this is, and I'm pretty sure Spider-Verse came out 2018. Don't remember, it's fine, I don't care, doesn't matter. So, I have, when I started Swinging Through Comics, I think over a year ago, I wanted to talk about all of Spider-Man, and I was originally planning on just reading every single Spider-Man comic book, and then I realized there's like 900 books that Spider-Man's in, and then I started looking into it and delving deeper into things, and then I realized, wow, Spider-Man is not only old, but there's been like all these different iterations, and there's, adjectiveless Spider-Man, which was done by whatever his name is, Todd McFarlane of Spawn fame, and what was it? Image Comics fame. Anyway, and then I realized, I thought about it more, and I thought, I'm going to get into the roots of it. And then I read the first 6 or so issues of Spider-Man. I absolutely loved it. I loved it from the first. I loved it from Amazing Fantasy 15, which it's only 9 pages. 9 pages of story, and it's amazing, and it feels like it delivers more than some 22-page comics do today. So that's, all to Steve Ditko's artwork and Stan Lee's storytelling, right? I mean, together the two of them did some amazing stuff. I was going to say Fantastic Four, but that was Lee and Kirby, so I don't want to confuse that. Anyway, so I eventually wanted to read, or I had originally planned, I'm going to do this whole Spider-Verse thing, and I'm going to, read there's these Edge of Spider-Verse books, and they're really neat. And I read Spider-Gwen at the time, when I started the channel, and I just didn't want to cover it because it wasn't very good. Edge of Spider-Verse #2, starring Gwen Stacy, or Spider-Gwen, or whatever the heck it's called, wasn't very good. And I didn't like it. The dialogue sounded like an old man trying to talk like a teenager, but like a teenage girl, but it was a mess for me. Anyway, time marches on, as it does for us all, and my second daughter wanted me to read the Spider-Gwen series to her, and I had read Edge of Spider-Verse to her, and I didn't like it, and I had to censor some of the little minor cussing or whatever because she was so young at the time. She's about a year older, probably a year passed in between me reading them, and I ended up reading all 5 to her. Spider-Gwen Most Wanted. So I think I finished reading Edge of Spider-Verse by myself because it just wasn't very great, and I thought I just want to get through this, and I don't need to bother her, and there's some stuff I don't like, and I think it's kind of lame, but she doesn't know about that. And I'm keeping my general dislike for some stuff about Spider-Gwen secret from her, just because she doesn't need to know that I don't like it that much, because if she likes it, she likes it, and I'm okay with that. Anyway, so I went ahead and I thought, I read Spider-Gwen Most Wanted, which is the Spider-Gwen, I think 2014, 2015, whenever Spider-Verse happened. It was after Spider-Verse, the original one. Don't get me started. Well, I'm going to get to that eventually. Anyway, so I read that, and it's 5 issues, and at the end of issue 5, it's Gwensel's down. This is the end of this miniseries, and then I guess it continues on from there, and they retcon, or anyway, I don't want to cast aspersions, but it seems like in the Marvel Unlimited app, they're trying to, or in the collections, because I look at Mike's Amazing World of Comics to try to figure out the actual timeline of things and when they actually came out, and to kind of create my own reading list, because they do have a reading list in the Spider-Verse stuff, but it's complicated as all get out, and I need to check out the Marvel Unlimited app, what its reading list does and how it helps you, because I checked it out once months and months ago, and then I said, I'm just going to create my own custom reading list, and I'm going to add stuff to my library, and then I'll add it to downloads, and I'll go from there, and I'll say, okay, I want to read these 2 things today, these 3 things today, these 6 things within a week or 2, so I'm going to download them, and I'll read them when I have the time, and I'll just go from download to download to download. I've now since changed my method, but maybe I do need to look into the reading list, because after reading Spider-Gwen Most Wanted, so to speak, 1 through 5, which, I'm going to have a separate thing where I talk about that, but I'm just talking about the whole thing broadly right now. I went ahead and I thought, okay, this was interesting enough. There were some redeeming things in it, and I think the Gwen Stacy character is interesting enough this Earth 65 one, that I'm willing to read more of her stuff. And you know what? I looked on the wiki. Oh, she played a big part in Spider-Verse. Okay, fine. I'll go ahead and look into it. And I went ahead and did that. And I read these 5 issues of Spider-Verse that seemed to mostly be starring Gwen, and I like typed in her name, Gwen Stacy or Spider-Gwen, and I looked through those books, and there were a bunch of these Spider-Verse books like in a row, so I decided to read them all. Turns out I read the wrong Spider-Verse story. I read the one that stars, or that features Norman Osborn and this battle world thing that apparently Doctor Doom had set up, which yeah, I stayed away from Into the Spider-Verse, I guess Into the Spider-Verse, the movie, right? I stayed away from that movie. I stayed away from the event because I thought it was going to be dumb. I thought it was going to be a stupid cash grab. And I have to say, after accidentally, whether I'm an idiot and that's why I read the wrong books, or it's just labeled poorly, which there's no subtitle. It's just Spider-Verse and Spider-Verse. It's not Spider-Verse 1, Spider-Verse 2, Spider-Verse Back with a Vengeance, Spider-Verse Battle World, Spider-Verse Doom. The second one should have had some title to differentiate it. And I see there's a 2018 or 2019 Spider-Verse as well, that I think, if I'm remembering correctly, doesn't really have a strong differentiation or disambiguation. You could accidentally rope people into buying and reading the wrong Spider-Verse stuff. And did I like the 5 or 6 issue Spider-Verse 2, I guess, featuring the Indian Spider-Man and the UK Spider-Man and Spider-Man Noir? And if you're gonna do it the same exact name, keep 1 or 2 characters the same, keep Spider-Ham in there and keep Gwen, Spider-Gwen, whatever, and then change up the cast in a big way each time so you can tell right off the bat that it's different, although the art sure looked different, and I should have known from that there was a problem. But anyway, I'm not going to read all 20 issues of the original Spider-Verse, but I'm going to read I think there's 2 main Spider-Verse crossover issues that are 30 or 34 pages long or something like that. I think I'm going to go ahead and read those, but first I'm going to do my Spider-Gwen review, Spider-Gwen Most Wanted, so that's 5 issues there. I may or may not tack on the Edge of Spider-Verse 2, which, was the real start of her story, or whatever, I guess you could call it. And then, from then, we'll see what I do with the Spider-Verse ones. But I might just, since I read it so recently, review this Spider-Verse 2 of the Doom world, or Battle World, or whatever. And then, I don't know if I'll go back to the original or not. I'm considering it. It's just, I don't have a ton of time, and I want to be writing and querying and outlining for new stories and things like that instead. If you're new here, I'm into tokusatsu, which is Japanese live-action superhero stuff. Think Power Rangers, but it's older than Power Rangers. It's older than Super Sentai. It goes back to Kamen Rider, goes back to Kikaider, to Ultraman, to Godzilla, technically. Godzilla's technically tokusatsu, whatever. I'm not really into the kaiju stuff. That being said, I have an idea for a tokusatsu story. I wrote a comic script for it for a single floppy 22-page issue. And I decided that there's enough there that I want to expand that into an entire graphic novel that I want to work on and then see about putting on Indiegogo and getting published. But of course I need the rest of the story, and I need to outline it. All I have right now is the faintest, broadest outline, and I don't want that. That's not good enough. It's not good enough for me, and it's not good enough to put out there. So I really want to work on it, and I need to make time to do that as well. I have children's book manuscripts that I have completed, 2 or 3, and I want to query those as well to get picked up by a publisher. I was gonna say a big one, but I don't care how big or small. I just want it picked up by a publisher so I can make some money off of it, sell some cool stories to kids, and then hopefully do more of those. And then anyway, I like Stan Lee the idea of Stan Lee as a creator. I like the idea of Shotaro Ishinomori, who's the creator of Kikaider, Kamen Rider, Super Sentai, which became Power Rangers. Cyborg 009 is huge. He's called I think they call him the god of manga in Japan because he wrote the most pages drew the most pages of comic books in the world. I don't think I necessarily have the skill for the art part of it. Although I do consider myself an artist, I'm more into the design aspect of things, as far as character designs and stuff, which that'll come up in the future regarding Spider-Gwen, or Gwen Stacy Spider-Woman. Anyway, I have such a hard time with this whole thing, but I'm going to stop my ranting and raving now to say that I want to get eventually to cover more of the Spider-Verse stuff, but I will not detract from my overall mission, which is to read a lot of the Marvel stuff, jumping back to the 60s once I finished reading and analyzing Cap 1 through 13, Captain America Comics, when it was under the Timely, or I think it was still under Timely before it became Marvel. Anyway, so I did those, and then I was going to do some other stuff, picking up on characters like Ant-Man, throwing in Groot in there, and just some other ancillary characters before I jumped back into steadily reviewing, like, as they came out. Fantastic Four, then Spider-Man, then Fantastic Four, then Spider-Man, then eventually X-Men, and then, you know, Astonishing Tales or whatever with Thor, or, like, I'm gonna kind of do a whole crazy endeavor, but in between I'll intersperse different things like this Spider-Gwen stuff, just because I really caught my interest in it. Over a weekend, I went ahead and I read a bunch of this stuff, and I just wanted to, like, wrap my head around why is Spider-Gwen, like, a thing, and why is it popular, and what does it mean, and, like, how good is this character? Because after reading Most Wanted, I thought, like, yeah, I get why you shut it down. Like, it probably wasn't selling too well, even though there was some good stuff in there. There was a lot of junk, too, and I kind of want to, I just wanted to get into that, and then it gave me a lot more to say, which I'm going to share with all of you at a later date. So, anyway, I got to go for now. Excelsior, True Believers, whatever. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm being a little insincere, but I'm going to get out of here. Until next time, folks, take care, and stay tuned for... I've got Rise of Ultraman number 4 coming up. Speaking of Tokusatsu comics, Tokusatsu, well, I already explained what Tokusatsu is if you didn't know. Ultraman is a big Tokusatsu character. He's literally a gigantic one, at least in the original show he was. In the comics, he hasn't grown to kaiju size yet, so he could fight like a Godzilla-like monster, but who knows, maybe that'll come. This is issue 4 or 5. It's a limited run series. I hope it's very successful. It's very well done. I'll tell you that so much, or so far. Issues 1 through 3 have been fantastic, and I'm looking forward to issue 4 being good. I hope issue 5 is like a grand slam touchdown full. I don't know sports that well. I hope it does really, really well, and that people want more of it, and that Subaraya agrees to let Marvel, specifically like Matt Groom and Kyle Higgins, do more Ultraman comics, because it's been really fantastic so far, and it's even better than like some mainline Marvel comics that are coming out today, contemporary with it. So that's all I have to say for now. So until next time, folks, take care, be well,